Futures trading involves risk and is not suitable for all investors. Content provided in this segment is meant for educational purposes and is not a solicitation to buy or sell commodities.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Tech Talk. I am Cody. He is Andy. We are the Tech Talk trio. It is the last episode of the year because it is New Year's Eve. How are you doing?
Happy New Year. Happy almost New Year.
Happy almost New Year. A couple more hours. Look at that. You are in the swing of things right
Ready
now.
to go. Look at this hat. I mean, this thing is just like, you just not getting any better than these hats right here.
You got the hat. You got the
thing.
blower, the thing. Confetti.
Yeah, there you go.
Ready?
Like, we got the confetti ready. Where's your hat?
I don't have one, but I did put on my original Rice Dairy fleece Sherpa lined sweatshirt.
That is arguably the most, I still have mine too. And that's arguably the most comfortable sweatshirt you're ever going to have in your life.
It is the nicest sweatshirt. You know,
I'm going to make that argument right now.
I completely agree. My first week, John Spainhauer found it in the closet, threw it at me, and promptly told me, never say I didn't give you anything.
There you go. Never say never. Isn't that what Bieber said? Never say never.
Shout out to John Spainhauer.
Shout out to John Spainhauer and Bieber. There you go.
Gentleman and a scholar.
Sorry. That's the last time, I swear. I just threw it over there, so it's over there now. Speaking of like things that have gone well this year.
Yeah.
How many subscribers do we have?
We've got over 1,000 subscribers.
Over 1,000 subscribers. How about that?
It's a win.
Give me a yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, baby.
We're like, you're going to the moon at like 10,000.
Well, we're supposed to get to 10,000, but we got over 1,000. So on our trajectory, another 9 years from now, we're in the ballpark.
I think that stuff's going to be exponentially growing, though. I mean, like, you get to 1,000, it's like 2,000, 4,000. You know, it's just.
Do you think by July of 2025 we get to 2,000?
I think we could be more than that. I think it would be more than that. With hats like this, come on.
And we're killing it.
Speaking of killing it, we got some charts. We have one request. One. That's all we need for the new year. That's it. This is Feb Hogs. Came at request from Dink, Mr. Dink. It's very expensive.
Very expensive.
Put that in the what is that? Like the notes or whatever in YouTube, if you know what show that's from. So Mr. Dink wanted to look at piggies. This is Feb Hogs. I just labeled them piggies. Oof. What do you think here, boss?
Well, I'm looking at it on this side, and I've got the 100 and 200 day simple moving average. Dropped below the 100-day moving average, but did not settle there. It crossed at about 80.5 and could not settle there.
Okay, I see what you're saying there. And so we didn't get a close below. So it traded below that price.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't close below that price. So you're saying that there's still a chance for this thing to kind of perk back up. Is that what you're saying because of that?
What was our low? Our low was 80 on the dot today.
80 right on the dot. How about that?
Right on the button.
The first thing I thought of when I saw this, is this going to be a Head and Shoulders?
Oh, continuation on Thursday.
Yes.
Pushing us.
Yeah. I think this is a Head and Shoulders. I think one of the things that sticks out to me the most is that this shoulder line, if you will, is above this high, kind of managed to kind of stick itself above the previous high. And each time you tried to get kind of back above, look at this one, it's just right in the face, bam. And then try to do it again. Nope, not so fast. So each time you try to punch through it on that third go around,
right?
Like it just, no, not happening. And then to break through, really it's here, right? You call that like the neckline. That is a sign of weakness. So I hear what you're saying about the 100-day moving average. That said, this looks like a Head and Shoulders. And if it is, then I would expect, or I would be looking for, if you will. So that's really where it moved. That's that move right there.
Mm-hmm.
So let's call it like 10 cents.
Okay.
So take 10 cents kind of off of where this neckline is, 82 down to 72. That takes it down to about like right there.
Gotcha. Okay. So you are a seller of hogs.
I think you got to be a little bit short. I mean, like I said, you got the Head and Shoulders pattern playing out. You broke through the neckline right here.
Mm-hmm.
At base, that's a sign of weakness. And then you manage to stick it close lower than yesterday's open or yesterday's close. So all in all, I mean, you think about all this buying too, right here. Basically from here, this is going back to, what is this? It's like Halloween time.
Right.
It's going back to like Tech Talk Halloween. Like all the buying that took place since Halloween, basically, in this contract is now underwater. It's no Gouda.
They probably watched our show during that time period.
I don't know. I don't know.
They knew it was a buy.
Who knows? They knew it was a buy. Whatever. It's okay.
Sorry.
That said, yeah, I mean, this looks weak. I said, it looks like Head and Shoulders get it close below that 100-day too that you're talking about, and I think it really starts to like fall apart.
Accelerate itself.
Acceleration.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your favorite like pig product? Because a lot of stuff comes off a pig when you think about it.
Bacon.
Okay.
Bacon.
I was gonna say bacon too. I'm a bacon fan.
you
It's hard to get around. Like you can put bacon on so many things.
Put it on anything. Great minds think alike. You can crush it up, put it in a salad. I mean, tell me something that you can put on sandwiches, burgers, and salads. There's not much.
And you can have it for breakfast.
So I'm talking about
for breakfast.
great minds.
And yeah, bacon. Cut some bacon. Let's go. So yeah,
Love it.
there's a lot. Obviously, pigs. It's a magical. What was that episode of The Simpsons where it was like,
What about bacon?
No.
Ham?
No.
Pork chop?
Dad, those all come from the same animal.
Oh, yeah, right. He's a wonderful, magical animal.
anyways, yeah, piggies look weak. You got a lot of room to retrace. I mean, let's just go do this real fast before. I mean, I think you could argue that like it really started to accelerate once it broke 75. Right. And so if we let's just use 75. Let's use 75-ish. There we go. And then that high. So you broke through 50%, tried to get through 2/3, couldn't do it. So that 2/3 number, I think, is going to be pretty key. And it coincides, look at that, just with your 100-day moving average. How about that, Jack? Bam. Big number right there, 80.5.
Yeah.
I think you break through it, and once you do, it's next stop 75.
The way you paint that chart right there, it sure looks like it.
Well, thank you, Mr. Dink. We appreciate it. Keep them coming. We got a couple, 2-3 more charts we want to look at here, don't we?
We do.
So I didn't touch anything. And the last time we looked at it, it's been a couple weeks since we looked at this bad boy.
It has.
This is weekly cheese. This is this week's bar. Remember, it's only, what day is today? Tuesday? All day
It's
today?
Tuesday.
So there's no trading tomorrow, New Year's
Correct.
Day. So, but we still have two more trading sessions for this bar. Had a nice little breakaway gap to start the week. And the question is, can it continue to go? Like it's almost like it's do or die time. I mean, I think if this thing just kind of stops and doesn't continue to at least go test all this noise, like this
Right.
192 area, I think it starts to really run out of gas.
I feel like there's another test of $1.90. We're at what? 186 3/4 right now. We're close, right?
We're not
Call
that
it 3
far
cents away.
Yeah, not that far away. I mean,
And cheese was
really,
higher today too.
cheese was a little higher. Futures not really believing it, right?
No.
I mean, futures had a pretty aggressive sell-off post-cash. That said, it's not that much of a premium now, and the futures are. And so, to your point, if they keep pushing cash up, it could get a little bit dicey. But yeah, I agree. I mean, we kind of drew this. We had this kind of like area of consolidation as like the completion of like a V bottom.
Yeah.
Right. I think we're both in agreement that further upside in cash is probably going to be met with resistance and then turn it back lower. And it's just however high we go is going to be that much more aggressive break. But I think you and I both agree a shot at 190, getting back into all this noise is certainly in the cards. It's not that far away. It's 3 cents higher. We were a nickel higher yesterday, basically, or 4 cents. I mean,
And to me, like I know we're going to look at features in a second, but it just feels like end of the quarter, end of the year sell off.
I can see
Today.
that.
It just really felt like that's kind of happened after
Yeah,
spot.
I mean, that's certainly possible, right? Cash has to break.
Yeah.
In order to justify starting to really like beat up futures from this point. So I threw this out there. There's one gap. There's another little baby gap right here. It's not the biggest one, but there are some like kind of unfinished business, right? If we start to do turn lower, this one obviously becomes a big target. The question is, how much lower? Let's say we roll over, how much do we go? I don't think we would look at that until we get like a definitive answer out of the market. I feel like what's coming is something like this, that 2-bar pattern right there, where I feel like this is going to be this week's bar, this one.
Yeah.
And then next week, we're going to have a bar like that.
I do
Just
too.
my gut feeling. The way the futures are acting, like I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another little push in cash, take us back into this area, and then just have this like, engulfing bar where, by the end of the week, if we start the week at 192, we end the week at 188 or something like that. And offer. Whoops. There we go. Happy New Year. There we go. Back on.
I think I am in agreement with you, and to expand upon that, I think that pushes us into a long-term W. So once we roll over, let's say we get back to a $1.90 this week, get up to $1.90, we start rolling over next week. I think we get pushed down to probably $1 exactly. Long term, you start getting into the second half of this year, June, July, August, and I think that's when we really start seeing that rip back up.
So
Just like what happened back at $1.40 in 2023.
Got it.
Yep,
Okay. So
exactly.
I'm going to hold off on taking it any further from there, but I am going to say, I am going to at least label this bad boy if I can figure out how to work this thing. It changed it up on me.
Right before the new year too.
And how about that? New year, new you. By the way, do you have any New Year's resolutions?
I don't do resolutions. I was reading something that resolutions only last for the month of January. Most people's only last 3 weeks. Well, I guess that'd be the whole month of January.
Right,
But
that'd be a month.
no sense making a resolution. Just try to be a better person. Yeah.
There you go. So if that was going to be your resolution to be a better person, you could tack on another resolution and say that you want one of your other resolutions to be that you complete a New Year's resolution. That means you do 2. Little New Year's tip for you.
My brain hurts after that one.
I know. We'll let that sink in, and then we'll go to the next. Let's go to the next chart. We'll give you a little break. All right, here we go. So last but not least, this is Feb Class III. All right, what do you think? We've given you a long enough break after we did a little brain buster for you.
Well, quite the retracement today. Again, end of the quarter, end of the year. Kind of figured we would have had a little bit of a break. We got up to a high of $20.90.
$20.90.
A lot of volatility. I think we talked about this before. Like the volatility, the movement now in these markets, now that the holidays are going to be past us, is going to be just wicked.
Yeah, for sure. And the option volatility is super high too, relative to what we normally see. So we're seeing that other places too, right? But I drew this. This is kind of like this longer term uptrend.
Mhm.
Big warning sign here today that we took a shot in the new contract highs today. Obviously, you said at $20.90.
Yep.
Completely failed. Totally took out yesterday's rally and then some. And now we're encroaching on this big update in here. I think the real test is going to be getting through this. It feels like we're going to go and test this trend, which if we do, I mean, that's still a pretty big break from here, isn't it? Like what's the last trade price? 2036. You're talking about getting down around, call it like 1975-ish.
Yeah.
1980. I think that's going to be the real test for this market for February in particular, is if we roll over and break this trend. I think it's going to require your W that you talked about in cash now, where you had your brain busted. But I think I think you got to go test this trend and then see what happens.
So let me ask you this, because we were just talking about cash. If we push to $1.90 by the end of this week, Thursday, Friday, even next week, we get to $1.90. Do you think we make new highs? Do you think we go to $21 in February before we roll over and then test that line? No.
I think no, I don't. I think you're just going to see like a discount get built into Feb, and maybe we retrace some of today's break. Don't get me wrong, but like going back over to going to like a $21 type trade.
Because we were close. We were within 10 cents.
Close for sure. But again, if they're able to keep cash kind of and get back into that midpoint that we talked about, I think you start to see a discount get built into like Feb and March. And I think if that happens, then that's kind of like the nail in the coffin for the cash for us to think that we can roll over. You start to build in a discount, what would that be? 2 weeks before you start pricing the futures contract? That would be a big warning sign.
And then you start rolling over cash. You think February, March accelerate themselves lower? Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the real test is going to be this trend. Can we break it? You're talking about getting back below like 1975, starting to test some of like the low 19s type stuff. It's certainly possible. I can recall when we got down into an 18 handle, it felt like, you started to see more volume pick up. It was getting a little bit more difficult to get futures lower and keep them down there, right? This kind of area. But that's a long way from now.
Yeah.
First test, I think, is we got to get to this trend.
I'd agree with you.
We'll see.
Did your shirt say the Dad DeLorean? Hold on.
Yeah, it sure does.
Let's go.
How about that? It sure does. Nice spot, by the way. Everybody's focused on the hat.
It's like the what's in this hand and what's in this hand. Here comes this one.
Who knows what's going on over here? Like, it's a mystery.
Unbelievable. That's great. Awesome. All right, everybody. Well, we greatly appreciate you watching our show this year, joining us on our Tech Talk adventures. Thank you to Paige as she does her magic every single week with Andy and I on here.
Yeah.
Just absolutely killing it. Thanks for everyone getting us over 1,000 subscribers. It wasn't quite 10,000 like we were predicting, but hey, we're going to work harder next year to get to 2,000, 5,000, and then 10,000 subscribers.
And you're still going to do a tattoo if you get to 10,000, right?
If we get to 10,000 by the end of next year, I'll get a Tech Talk tattooed right on my leg. Be proud of it.
I think you should do like TT for like life, and maybe spell life like LYFE or something like that.
And then Dad DeLorean right underneath it.
Sure.
I love it.
There you go.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, with that being said, everyone, thank you so much. Be safe tonight, and we'll see you next year.
See you next year. See you next year. How's that sound?
I'm waiting to say that all year.